name is Pavina, founder of Make It Happen, where we share tools that will help make you grow at least 1% every single day. Today, I want to talk about how can you study better and how to improve your study skills. This is because we are all students, we are lifelong learners, and our brains are wired to learn. In every waking moment, we are taking in information from our 5 senses and it's being processed in our mind. That has an impact on how we think and how we behave in the future. So I define studying as just intentionally using our brains for the purpose of learning well and also remembering what we are trying to learn. Even if you're currently not a formal student, we actually study every day. We study by reading books, reading the news, or maybe watching a YouTube video on how to cook a delicious pad thai. So today, I would like to share with you the 3 most effective learning techniques I've tried that will unlock your brain's potential. But first, let me share with you some background knowledge in neuroscience. In your brain, there are about 100 billion neurons. Each of those neurons has about 10,000 connections to other neurons. And so that's about hundreds of trillions of connections in our mind. Each of those connections is firing either on or off. Now, when it's on, that means electricity is literally firing through those connections of the neurons. And when it's off, no electricity. So moment by moment, we have this electrical storm of activity. Literally, electricity is flowing through neurons and networks, billions of them. And we have this experience of reality. So that same network of the reality we have in a moment becomes a memory. When 2 neurons connect with electricity, something incredible happens. They start to wire together. So what fires together, wires together. And just as the neurons that fire together, wire together, the neurons that aren't firing together unwired, and then the brain recycles this wire for the neurons that are firing together. These 2 processes happen in every moment, in parallel moment. So in every moment, some neurons are firing together based on where we put our attention on. And where we are not putting our attention on, the neurons are starting to unwire. Another way to say this is, if you don't use it, you lose it. So this brings us to the first technique I'd like to share with you to improve your study skills, which is elaborative encoding. It means connecting new information to old information. So when you want to encode the powerful initial memory networks of the new information you want to learn, you want to connect the new information to the things that you already know. This is how mnemonics work. So in medical school, we would substitute song lyrics to all the facts we need to remember. For example, chromosome numbers associated with various diseases. So when the song popped in our heads, our brains started playing all those chromosomes numbers and pathophysiology of those diseases. Besides, elaborative encoding is also a great way to remember people's names. The second learning technique I'd like to share with you is active recall. What study after study shows is that active recall is the most powerful way to study after you encode the information. It means without looking at your notes, you recreate the information from your memory. So it's like retrieval practice. So you can close your eyes and think about what was that lecture that you've just attended was about, what was the takeaways for me, and making your brain draw it back from your memory. Imagine a Labrador retriever going out there, getting the ball of information from that huge pile of memory networks and bringing it back to you. So that's retrieval practice. Now, for this thing to work, you need to have immediate feedback. You've got to know the right answer, otherwise you're going to risk encoding it wrongly in the first place. One way that you can practice active recall is to teach the information to someone else, to explain what you are learning to someone else, and if there's something incorrect, correct yourself and explain it again until you get it right. Another way to do it is that you can use flashcards to test yourself to do the active recall. And the third learning technique I would like to share today to improve your learning skills is spaced repetition, which is how often we do the active recalls. Let's say you have about 5 hours to study. Should you spend all those 5 hours the night before the test? I guess some of you might have done that, cramming. Or should you do maybe 2 days of 2.5 hours or 5 days of 1 hour? Well, study after study shows that the spaced repetition, which is spacing it out as long as you possibly can, always beats cramming. After a week, if you did the cramming, it's as if you didn't study anything at all for that 5 hours. So how to do the spaced repetition? Basically, we start with the active recall. Test, check, repeat, and then gradually increase the spacing. You want to do it often at first, and the goal is that to do it as long as you possibly can, when you still can get it right. So it's maybe about 3 to 4 times on the first day, another 3 to 4 times the first week, and another 3 to 4 times the first month. And even if you already know the information, keep actively recalling it, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's all for the 3 most effective techniques I've tried: elaborative encoding, active recall, and spaced repetition, which I believe if you give it a try, you will exponentially increase your learning output. So start your dream today, because you have something special, distinct, and important to share with the world. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.